Turkey is an extremely beautiful, culturally relevant country with lots of things to do and see. Its capital, Istanbul, straddles Europe and Asia and hosts important religious sites such as the Hagia Sophia. There's a lot to love about Turkey, from its exquisite coastline to its bustling cities. Although undeniably impressive, Turkey has some security concerns. If you want to get the most out of your trip, it's wise to keep them in mind. Although cities like Istanbul tend to be a bit more liberal, many places in Turkey are very conservative and you are expected to follow local rules and customs. In addition, there are minor problems with pickpocketing and petty theft. Knowing what to look out for can help you have the best possible time in Turkey. Hey guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our channel if you want to travel without having to endlessly wait until others are ready to grow. Now let's get started. Is Turkey safe to visit in 2023? Visiting Turkey is relatively safe, but you need to be smart when you go. Usually tourists don't have to deal with too much violent crime, especially in the more touristy areas, but you may encounter pickpockets. Additionally, there is some terrorism in Turkey, so it is best to avoid unstable areas whenever possible. There are occasional attacks in tourist destinations such as Istanbul. So if you are traveling at night, be alert and vigilant. Crime in Turkey. Although tourists are unlikely to encounter violent crime in Turkey, petty theft is common. Therefore, always keep your bag secured and in front of you on public transport. Additionally, avoid keeping valuables in your back pockets. There is quite a lot of violent crime in some parts of Turkey, but it is mostly related to domestic violence or other conflicts. Tourists are unlikely to be part of these situations, but it is still best to avoid trouble areas or disagreements between local people. Avoiding bad areas. Many parts of Turkey are safe, but there are a few bad areas to avoid on your travels. Fortunately, the country is large enough that these zones can be easily avoided. Sinsin. Sinsin is one of Ankara's worst cities to travel in. Although the vast majority of Ankara is gorgeous, Sinsin is a big exception and has a local reputation as a lawless place that even seasoned police personnel stay out of. There's not much tourist activity in Sinsin, so you probably won't find yourself there anyway. However, it's not a good idea to go there at any time of the day, as Sinsin is a hot spot for lawlessness and crime. You could even run across dangerous gangs. Sırnak. Anatolia's Sırnak might be naturally beautiful, but you should err on the side of caution and avoid it. Sırnak is an unstable part of the country that occasionally experiences terrorism and sometimes even goes into police lockdown. Mount Ararat. Mount Ararat is one of Turkey's most famous mountains and is famously the spot where Noah's Ark finally found dry land. Although it might be tempting to visit Mount Ararat, tourists are strongly discouraged from doing so. The mountain is prone to extreme weather and has many military personnel and police patrolling it. There are plenty of great places to hike and trek in Turkey, but Mount Ararat isn't one of them. Tunceli Province. This eastern province is a volatile area to visit, home to many military operations and occasional protests and terrorist attacks. Unless you absolutely must see Tunceli Province, stay away. Diyarbakır City. Diyarbakır City has several terrorist threats and even actual bombings, so it's considered a no-go zone for travelers. Not only should you not visit Diyarbakır City, but your travel insurance might not even work in this part of the country. Hatay Province. The province borders Syria and has been a hot spot for bombings, terrorist attacks, and other instability related to the Syrian war. So not only should you not walk, but you might not be able to get out once you're there. Lockouts are pretty standard, and you're unlikely to get help if you get stuck there. Bombs are just one of the terrorist methods used in Hatay province. The insurgents also set fire to surrounding areas as a way to terrorize the population. So you better stick to beaches or cities like Istanbul. You will definitely have a better vacation. Hakkari Province. This southeastern province is a deeply militarized area where unsuspecting tourists can find themselves wandering into no-go zones. But unfortunately, ignorance is no excuse. If you find yourself in this predicament, you could be in serious trouble. Not only is there a ton of Turkish military presence in Hakkari province, but there are also many insurgencies. Turkey-Syria border. In general, visitors to Turkey should avoid Turkey's border with Syria. Syria is a hot conflict zone, and the borders certainly spill over a lot. There is a lot of tension between Turks and Kurds right on the border, and civilians and tourists are not immune to the bloodshed. Terrorism is a real problem here, so stay away if possible. If you find yourself in a no-go zone, leave as safely as possible and immediately. Kilis Province. Kilis Province lies close to Syria and sometimes fires randomly from its conflict-torn neighbor. Rockets have crossed the border, and there is a significant amount of unrest in Kilis Province. While there are plenty of places to avoid in Turkey, there are even more amazing places to visit. So keep these tips in mind and don't venture too far off the beaten path, especially if you don't speak the language. It is good to remember that you are traveling to a foreign country, and the rules are very different. Watch out for pickpockets in big cities. This thing to consider goes hand in hand with being a tough target, but it's still worth noting in its own right. Pickpocketing tourists thrives in larger cities, so keep an eye out for suspicious behavior, keep an eye on your valuables, and be careful not to touch or stand too close to you. Staying alert is important. Being a hard target simply means that you are constantly aware of your surroundings and make it difficult for criminals to target you. Pickpockets and attackers generally look for soft targets or people they can easily rip off. Avoid the cats. To say that Turkey is a cat-friendly country is an understatement. Big cities like Istanbul are known for their feline friends, and you can find cats both indoors and outdoors. Although most cats are friendly, they are not pets, so you should approach them with caution. If you are bitten or scratched by a cat in Turkey, see your doctor immediately. You may need to get a rabies series or a tetanus shot. Rabies is rare but fatal in humans. Is Turkey safe for women? Turkey is relatively safe for women, especially in the larger cities. However, women could experience street harassment by shop owners in Istanbul. Usually this harassment is not sexual in nature, but rather based on attracting customers. While it's off-putting and upsetting, it's rarely dangerous. Women might experience stares or even comments in more rural parts of Turkey, especially if traveling through a more conservative region. That's all from today's video. Please let us know your opinion about the video in the comments section. And if you want to get even more empowered to travel, you need to watch the video in the pinned comment below. Thank you.